So today we are going to be looking at Goodsmile Company's new Nendoroid box. Now, this was rather significant of a change because for the last, I would say, 10 or 15 years, Goodsmile Company has been putting their Nendoroids, these little tiny little chibi figures here, in boxes that had clamshells. I believe this was a big part of the figure appeal, was like how nice this figure looked in like a clamshell box, because as soon as you look at the figure, you can see it right away and see that, like, hey, this is an authentic figure if you know what to look for. But as of, I believe, October 25th, they randomly put out a notice saying that they are going to be changing the boxes to windowless and plasticless to save on, I think the excuse was like climate change or something like that, like to save on resources. But they also stated that it's an 86 reduction in plastic. And so they said that this was for the environment. And I personally, again, I run a business myself, I don't believe it in the least, because I feel as though as if they were really, really considered of protecting the environment, what they could have done as a company who specializes in plastic toys, increase the prices of their Nendoroids, which thus makes their audience less able to purchase it, which would save on plastic resources because less people could afford it. But that would mean them like losing out on the audience that could afford cheaper figures. So I don't believe this was a whole, climate change thing. I believe this was a cost reduction thing. Not to mention Nendoroids and figures like this. Here is actually the first Aisaka Taiga Nendoroid. Historically have been like, purchased by people and resold and stuff like that. Now that you can't confirm, because like you can look right away and see whether or not this is authentic Nendoroid, again, if you know what you're looking for. But nowadays, if you buy this new Nendoroid box, you're not going to be able to know if this is authentic or not. So I believe they did this to push people to buy from their online store and their pre-orders because, if you buy this third party, you technically take a risk with whether or not it's going to be authentic or not, because there's absolutely no way to identify the figure without opening it. So I just remembered that I actually have a bootleg Aisaka Taiga Nendoroid. It was accidentally sent to me. So here is a good example of being able to tell right away when the figure is bootleg. Maybe someone who's kind of new to the figure collecting won't be able to tell right away, but you can tell by the faces that this one is way more higher quality, and this is the authentic one. And then this one is way lower quality. The head doesn't even fit into the joint. So this kind of, clear box would actually help the person who's purchasing this figure tell right away if this is a fake figure, an authentic figure. But again, that is no longer the case with Goodsmile Company's newest box. So I pre-ordered this. I love Aisaka Taiga. She's one of my favorite characters. So I got this little pre-order bonus off of the Japanese store. And I believe they weren't offering this pre-order bonus on the English store. And I felt like that was really annoying. What's also, I think, a big change is that they're also changing the bases of these Nendoroids. And the Nendoroid bases were always so ugly. And for them to change it even more, make it even more uglier, it's like, again, I swear that they're doing this to put an uptick in pre-orders. So, because I got a special base if I pre-order it. But once you're out of the pre-order window, you don't have access to, the more attractive base unless you buy the figure third party. But if you buy the figure third party, now you run into the risk of bootlegs. I will say upon first impression, these were the older, this is probably a 15-year-old figure. The boxes were a lot bigger, and then they reduced them to this kind of smaller size, as you can see here. Sorry, I don't have much space. And I felt like this was appropriate. This was cute. It matched the figure size a lot better because there's a lot of extra space you can see in this figure box. But this one made more sense. But again, I believe it was all for profit. And the only people who are going to throw out their boxes are like mega collectors and people who maybe get one figure and they don't really understand the value, because most of the time, the figure, you have to have the box for it to retain their value. I've been collecting for almost 15 years now, and I have 300 figures, which is the greed they talk about in the Bible. And it is, this is very interesting, actually. And I still keep the majority of my boxes. I will say I probably keep 90%, 95% of my boxes. The only times I don't is if they're prize figures, because they have shitty boxes anyway. So here is the inside. I do kind of like the orange, I'm not going to lie. And then here is the figure. You see how unexcited, oh, this is my figure. I mean, at least I'm assuming. Here's my figure. It feels like, when you order from Amazon and they get you ceramics wrapped in this. Here is the faceplates. And then here is a new quote unquote storage packaging for the Nendoroid itself, which is just a box. Let me stop and see what I paid for this figure. So this figure was $36.99 with about $20 shipping, so 30, 40, 50. $56. I would say maybe with taxes up to $60. Which is not a I don't know, it's like, is this a bad deal or not? Like, I mean, I don't know, for a box and stuff like this, like $60, which I know I am including, you know, shipping into the equation, but let's be real, like shipping, we're always going to pay the price because technically the company could cover shipping, but they don't. So it's like, should I factor that into the price? I'm not really sure. Here is the boxes so far. And it's like, I guess I will say like, I'm a hater, don't get me wrong, but so far this is not that bad. I'm not going to lie. But again, I do like how chibi and cute this little box looks, so I guess that's going for us. I think maybe their new seal of authentication will be this little guy right here to kind of validate it. But again, like, let me see if my bootleg didn't have any sort of seal or anything like that, but then also the authentic one didn't have a seal. So maybe that's something new they're implementing as a change. So again, storage box, it's just... as you can see, I'm kind of putting some pressure onto it, and it's like, you know, a little bit of denting. If you're kind of OCD with keeping your boxes in pristine conditions, because I know some collectors are, I don't really care about how, like, having my boxes in great conditions. Oh, there's actually stuff in here. That's so funny. Let's see. Here's the instructions. It's just like, it's just giving, like, it's giving so cheap. And again, like, I know, like, this is not a toy, like, okay, yes, this is technically a toy company, but it's like they market specifically to ages 15 and up on average. So it's like, I don't know. It just feels really cheap so far to me. But understand, I am a hater by default. So, you know, take that with the, you know, into consideration base, like to base your judgment. So here's a new Nendoroid base. It used to have like dots all between. Let me see if actually I can pull it out real quick. Hold on. So here's the first Nendoroid base. There was a lot more holes for a lot more like variables of where you want to put the stand base. And then here is the new one. And this was always so ugly to begin with. And this is even uglier because it's just like, why is there extra space? And I understand Goodsmile Company, the money moguls they are, sell little tiny like easels, Nendoroid stands. But again, you have to purchase that separately, and they look way better because it's like, it takes up way less space. And it's just like, this is just so, I don't know, it's giving, this quality feels a lot thinner. Yeah, it's significantly thinner. Look at that. And the first one, sorry if I'm not focusing. I'm using my iPhone here. This reminds me of like Dollar General plastic. And it's very, very, I don't know. There's the illustrious made in China label. I think you can see, I don't know, I see Torador. So it's just information about the figure. Copyright itself. Here's the accessories. What really fucking suck is, excuse me, I shouldn't be doing profanity. Is, you know, after a while, like if I open these and I toss these together in this new quote unquote storage box, they're gonna scrape against each other. And I live in Las Vegas, so it gets really, really hot. And so for these figures, you know, the pieces to scrape up against each other, it can do color transfer really easily if I don't sit here and put the figures in perfectly, like, you know, separated, and then make sure the box doesn't shift. So I find that very irritating. But here's the new Nendoroid stand. Let's take that, toss it over there. Here we are. And again, I'm a conspiracy theorist in this. I have a feeling Goodsmile Company, again, is trying to push pre-orders because that's where they, you know, get the most of their money buying directly from the company, that they're going to try and, like, push these, like, prettier bases. Give me a second. Shout out to my dentist. These much prettier bases from the pre-order. Because, like, look at the difference. It's not even funny. Like, this is obviously encapsulates the series. It has her little mini Taiga. Oh, God. Again, maybe I've just grown out of figures, which I have. Let's be for real. I'm 28 years old. I do not be playing with action figures, but alas, here I am. See, that base looks, look at that. That looks so nice. But again, like, they just pushed us to, you know, do more pre-orders, whatever. Anyway, here's the figure itself, We got an extra neck joint, which I believe was also altered. You can see it's like more of a sideways diagonal joint piece now. So I guess I understand the joints and fixing that stuff better, but here's the figure. It's so exciting. Like, look at this. It's an egg. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, so here's the clamshell that the figure stays in. It feels extremely flimsy. Yes, I'm being a hater. I'm always a hater. I mean, it's like it's not bad, but it's just like it just makes things worse. So here's a figure in this strange foam. Here's a little Aisaka Taiga. The things I do for Aisaka Taiga. All right. Here she is. All right. Again, another thing that's kind of irritating about the clamshell, or the reduction of the clamshell, is you see in this box, you see how she's perfectly straight? That's how she arrived. So you see her joint in her neck hasn't like shifted. So she's perfectly straight, which will maintain the figure's like integrity. Because after a while, if you have Nendoroids, the neck joints get really, really loose. So it's like the fact that like you can see how her body is like curved like this, again, because of just being tossed in the box. And look, it's leaning up against her hair. She looks like she's doing like a superhero thing. So it's just like this, like, again, if you have like a bunch of Nendoroids, like I've had like, oh my God, disgusting amount of Nendoroids. And it becomes a problem where it's like the head joint gets really loose. And so when you touch it, it just bounces up and down. So again, and it's like, what sucks about this is it's really hard to place this back because you have to memorize, you know, in what order you open the package. But with a clamshell, you just toss it in the box and you're good to go. So, yep, here am I, I'm taking out the little plastic in the... I will say the new uniform looks really good comparing the first Aisaka Taiga to this new Aisaka Taiga. This is obviously significantly an upgrade for the figure itself. I'm just so disappointed. And not to mention, on October 25th, I believe, like I said, when they did the, the announcement for changing the boxes, they were like, by the way, Aisaka Taiga Nendoroid, is going to be in the new box. And I pre-ordered this figure back in, I don't know, like April. So it's just like, you know, would I have changed my mind and not pre-ordered the figure knowing that it was going to be in the shittiest box possible? No. But like, if it was a different character, yes, you know. Because like some figures, like I even have my figure collection right now. Some figures I display in my collection in their box sealed. So it's like, now it's like, again, which funny enough, I actually bought 2 of these. Like, again, like I love Aisaka Taiga, so here's a sealed version. So it's like, imagine displaying like this, like, it's so boring. And it's like the whole thing about figures is that it's attractive and it's appealing. And so it's like, to make these things more unattractive, it's just, anyway. So here's her cute little head. Very adorable, I'm not gonna lie, like, absolutely super cute. So now, if you understand anything about Aisaka Taiga, the Nendoroids, this Nendoroid was actually based off of the light novel. So it's like her facial style is different from this one, which is based on the anime style. So you can see way rounder eyes, which reflect the artist who drew the light novel. So I thought that was actually really cute because like this is like, you know, the original light novel. This is more the anime. I have obviously loved the anime, so I'm very happy to have both of them. I also have a few other Aisaka Taiga Nendoroids. But you can tell the sculpt has completely changed. Again, I believe in the light novel she had way darker hair, and this is way lighter hair to reflect the anime. So I think that's a really cute little distinction between the two. So let's put her little head on. So far, like that kind of like that joint thing I was telling you about, it doesn't seem to be a problem with this one in specifically, but I know I recently opened another Nendoroid and it had that problem immediately, and I was just like, whatever. But she's really cute, I will say. Again, you know, I will put her on the non-pre-order Nendoroid base because I'm not sure if everyone else pre-ordered it too. So here is the default base you're going to get. Let's take off her head here. Let's probably make it a little bit easier. Yeehaw! Well, that did not work. We'll just do it like this. We're obliterating this poor figure. So I mean, that fits in pretty good. It's nice because it gives her plenty of space. So I will say I like this new little whatever where it's way more... let's see, do I have... The first Nendoroid is really old, so it has this weird clamshell around the feet, which you can actually see in this Nendoroid easily right here. How lucky. Perfect example of that. So I do like this. I will say I like this stand better for sure. But this base is so ugly. And again, I don't know why they, like, the whole thing about figures is that it's like the whole experience. Like, if anybody knows about pop-up parades, like, they're really cute, cheap figures that are Goodsmile companies attempt to compete with the prize figure market. And to see that they give them the ugliest bases possible, it's like, it's just like, how do you not understand, like, the whole point of all of this is just like, you know, a piece of art. So here she is in this new base, and it's just, I don't know, I'm really nitpicky when it comes to these things, because, like, I mean, just look at that, like, again, compared to this one. So it's not just like, look how bad this base is, it's like, look how good this one is if you pre-order for them directly. But again, what was irritating is that this was only on the international store, so it's like from Japan, like Goodsmile Company's Japan store, but it wasn't available internationally, so on the Goodsmile US store. So I had to get these ones technically from their Japanese store. And so it's like you're just jumping through loops, because it's like, you know, some of my pre-orders are on the US store because it gives me less shipping, I believe, like cost for shipping. But then other times I have to use the more expensive international store so I can get these pre-order bonuses. But look, see, that looks so much better. Like, get out of here. I'm not really liking her arms. It looks very aggressive, which is very fitting for her at least. But like, look how much like 10x better that looks. Because the whole point is like, again, like having a nice pretty art piece, but no, alas, here we are. So here's the difference between both of them. Much brighter red. All right, let's take a look at these Nendoroid faceplates. Now, if you're familiar with Nendoroids, they have extra little faceplates you can change out from the character. And so here they are in the new paper little box. I will say, all things considered, the boxes are really well designed to fit the figure very flush. But the only thing I'm kind of worried about is, as you can see here, they put this plastic to protect the figure, the box, the Nendoroid, excuse me, the faceplate from paint transfer from the box itself. Like, that's why they included it. So it's like, am I going to have to always keep this little, you know, plastic stuff in here first? Or it's like, you know, or am I going to have increased chance of paint transfer if I just do it like that? It's just like, you know, and they don't give clarification. Granted, I did not even look and see if they gave clarification. Let me see, actually. Here's what is included. The pieces, how to assemble, and then all this text that I have no attention span to read. So I don't know, maybe it says here, whatever. I'm a hater of change. Especially, like, again, like, I've been collecting figures for like 15 years. Like, of course, I'm the audience that would be complaining, so maybe this is fine for you. But I am the intended audience who would complain about this. Again, I don't know. Do I just keep it in here like that? I don't know. Now that I mention it, I can't, you know, if this is the storage box, allegedly, am I supposed to take the Nendoroid faces out and then just put them in here like this as the storage? Oh, God. Ah! All right, so here's Aisaka Taiga's little blushing face. Very cute. Here's her angry yelling face. I like this face the most, but, you know, for the sake of the video, I will switch out the faceplates. I hope I'm focusing here. Let's see. Again, I think the new, give me a second. I forgot what I was going to say there. I'm not going to lie. All right, here's her with her little angry faceplate. Very cute. Let's see if these faces can change from the first Nendoroid. Ooh, actually, I don't even know if I want to test that. Because the thing about these old Nendoroids is that they get really, really fragile and they break really easily. So, you know, I actually don't even want to take off this faceplate. But, you know, look at the angry differences. Very cute. Like, this is obviously way more proportionate to the anime. It looks really good. I think that's about, you know, the majority of this unboxing. I mean, we just have, like, trash everywhere now, which is so funny because I'm less likely to want to keep this and I want to toss this now because it's just like because it's just, I don't know, it just looks so cheap. And again, for a figure company to, you know, understand their market for the longest time, that this was supposed to be like an experience, as corny as that sounds, it's supposed to be an experience of the figure. And again, like a lot of times, like I, you know, get rid of my figures either by selling them, which funny enough, I don't even really sell them. I just give them away. And so a lot of my figures, like I'll give them away in boxes, and that makes it more valuable to someone who can't afford a figure. You know what I mean? So if you just give them like an open box figure, it's like, okay, whatever. But if you give them the whole package, it feels way better. So it's like, again, like this I feel was fine, but of course, you know, I guess took too much money out of Goodsmile Company. So now we are stuck with this. And Goodsmile Company did say that they were like only some figures were gonna get this, which is, don't even get me started on like the inconsistencies. Like that's just so irritating. So it's like, I'm assuming, like I'm not gonna lie, I bet every Miku Nendoroid is gonna have the clear shell because she's a big seller. So all I can say, you know, my final thoughts is this just, it just looks so, it just feels so cheap. Like, again, like if I open this up, excuse me, all the pieces are just gonna be sitting in here, you know, moving around, scraping on the box, high chance of color transfer. And again, I live in Vegas, so it's gonna be hot. So it's a higher chance of them like, you know, color transferring based on the heat alone. So here it is. Let me see if it's very easy to put all this stuff back into the box. Oh, so when I was talking about those extra stands, here they are actually. Again, you can buy those separately because of course, I would love it personally. I would love it if they just included those instead of that, which funny enough, that would save like way more money if they included those instead. But maybe I'm the minority with these, whatever the hell that this is. So here I am putting everything back into the box. Like I said, I will say the boxes were very well designed, but that actually like really bothers me. Like, look at that. Hold on. So funny enough, I don't think, cause like, look how close that's cutting it. Yeah, if this box shifts, you can see her nose rubbing it. And it's like, the nose is like one of the most commonplace for like the black nose issue where it's like, it's just really easy and hard to clean the black nose. So it's like look at, that's so irritating. You know, so it's like, again, if your box shifts, you have a chance of getting dirt on the nose, which makes the figure look so ugly. So again, I really don't feel comfortable putting little figure's head in here because of how close it is. I guess I really have no choice but to use this little box down here. And yippee! And let's pretend I put the figure in there, and then here's the figure. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I absolutely adore the size. Like, I love this size compared to the other Nendoroid boxes size. I think it fits perfectly with the fact that this is a small chibi figure. But look at the size difference now, jeez. You see how it's like, you can really tell they saved a lot of money on doing that? Versus Teto. I think this Teto released like, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. The size difference here. Man, so I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm a hater and I run a business. I know how this stuff works. Like, this is obviously saving them a lot of money by having an 86% reduction in a plastic material. I know they're going to do the whole environment stuff. Oh, it's for the environment. We're so eco-friendly. Take these plastic figures that you're making, make them more expensive so you produce less figures. That's the solution. If you really want to, you know, save the environment and stop doing plastic. Because 9 times out of 10, a figure collector and a figure person who's buying a $60 plastic toy that's not marketed as a toy because it's marketed towards ages. Let me actually see if it says the age on the box. Yeah, what did I say? Oops. 15 and up. So the fact that they put this here, they're obviously marketing towards like collectors, and these pieces are way too small to be given to children anyway, like these little arms and stuff like that, choking hazard. So for them to sit here, try and act like this is for the environment, when I know this is a profit reduction, so they can make even more figures now, and taking into the fact that figure collectors who buy these expensive toys, let's be real, are always usually keeping the box. And if you're like, oh, I don't keep the box, it's probably because you buy prize figures, if I were to guess, okay, I'm not saying that's a fact, but it's like those cheap figures in the pop-up parades. Yeah, they have really ugly boxes, so you just toss them anyway, and they're like cheap figures, just like they're like $20 figures, $30 figures. You're not gonna keep the box, like, you know, it's just like the box is low quality anyway. So it's like, you know, for these Nendoroids, which are more collectible, because like, you know, these tend to skyrocket in value. Funny enough, like this Teto right here, I think I paid like, I don't know, 40 for her, something like that. She's like 150 on the market. Which, speaking of which, I might do an unboxing of her and give away because I have 2 copies of this as well. So it's like, for them to sit here and be like, this is for the environment, when the majority of collectors I know keep the boxes. It's just kind of like a slap in the face. Like, you know, if they had straight out said, oh, we're doing this for cost reduction, that would have been fine. I would have been fine. I'm like, I understand, because honestly, the more money that they make, the more different characters they can make, and that's fine. But again, for them to do the whole like, oh, this is greenwashing, you know, it's just like, I'm just not a fan of it. And it's just, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you think this is a good change, or do you think this is an unnecessary change and Goodsmile company just continues to be greedy, let me know. Because again, like for me, I'm a super collector, as in like I have like, I don't know, like I said, 300 figures. Like this figure, this guy right here, Billy Harrington, this is like, man, this figure's from like 2009. So I don't know the math, but it's like 15. I don't know, that's like almost like a 15-year-old figure. Is that? No, wait a minute. I can't do math. However long, that's a long time ago. That's all I'm trying to say. That's a long time ago. So it's like, I still have his figure boxes and clamshells and it protects him. So it's like, I've had, you know, I've literally not just tossed his box in a landfill for like, you know, 10, 15 years or however many years it is, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. To me, it's just a slap in the face, and I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, and especially taking into consideration this new Nendoroid base. And again, I think they're trying to push pre-orders so you get a more complete figure. And I understand businesses need to make money, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know, to alienate half of your fan base, because the majority of the backlash was negative when they saw this new change. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I will see you next time.